Hey, good morning, everybody. Hi. As a life coach, often I get asked, where do you get your nuggets? How do you get your nuggets? Well, I'm a person of reflection, and I'm pensive often. Good morning. And there you go. And I have to say that in my meditation and my giving myself constant reminders to affirm myself, and I affirm myself through Bible scripture. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, speak those things that are not as though they are. Those are my affirmations. Even when I'm in my yoga classes, I'm affirming myself and meditating with scripture. But I also get a lot out of just experiences, especially my teaching experience. And as some of you know, I'm a retired teacher and I've taught algebra, language arts, but mostly mathematics, pre-algebra language arts to middle schoolers and high schoolers. And I would be in the middle of lessons, teaching algebra lessons, and there would be a connection from what I'm teaching mathematically to what is happening in my life, or some concerns that I have. And so what I want to do, I want to share some of them with you in parts. Okay, for instance, when I think of a reciprocal, the reciprocal is the reverse, the inverse of the numerator and the denominator. So 4/5 can be inverted to 5/4, 1/3, 3/1, or just plain 3. All right, reciprocal. When I was teaching that lesson, I taught it numerous times, but when I was teaching it one day, the Lord gave me the revelation of reciprocity in relationships. Yes, we are called to love and love each other. God is love and a whole lot more. He's not just love. But when we are loving, there ought to be in our lives reciprocity. I do believe in not expecting something sometimes from individuals, but when you're in a continual relationship with people and you're always the giver, or you're 99.9% the giver, and the other person in this quote relationship is not a giver but a taker. And when I say relationship, I'm not talking specifically of romantic and marital relations. I'm talking about parent-child. I'm talking about siblings. I'm talking about quote-unquote friends. There ought to be give and take. There ought to be seasons of that, give and take, reciprocity. It's about me giving and then you giving, me giving and you giving. And if we really know our Bible, God is like that. He is, yes, love. And he loved the world so that he gave his only begotten son. But top commandment is that we love him and love him with all of our hearts. So he wants it. It's because, I always tell people I'm not religious. I'm relational. I'm in a relationship with Christ. And so it's about him giving love, me giving him love. God has feelings, all right? So reciprocity was one, and I'm going to leave you with another one. Variables. Students would, because algebra is so abstract, students would wonder how in the world do you have of an alphabet in this equation? What does it mean? Well, of course, you have to read the context to determine what it could mean. Notice what I said, what it could mean. So that variable X, Y, Z, whatever you want it to be, could be anything. And one day, again, I'm teaching a lesson, taught this lesson many times, many years, and all of a sudden I get this revelation of X could be this that's going on, or it could be that that's going on. At the time, I didn't know that I was, but I was an overthinker. And I'm an analytical person anyway, and oftentimes it gets in the way. And so I have to monitor myself with that. So as an overthinker, I had to set back and see, what could this variable be? What could this be in this situation? And then when I started teaching equations with multiple variables, then I started seeing multiple incidences. I could see multiple behaviors. I could see different types of outcomes that could be placed in this equation. What I want to do is come back again with a part 2 to all of this, of how algebra has taught me and helped teach me life lessons. Life lessons that I now use as a life coach, lessons that I've learned even as an author, lessons that I've learned just being a mom, lessons that I've learned when I was a wife and after being a wife, lessons that I've learned just living through the different stages of this wonderful life of mine. All right, so stay tuned for part 2 of my life lessons through teaching algebra.